Mandy Moore went through the ringer in season 2 of This Is Us, as her character, Rebecca Pearson, had the trauma of losing her husband, Jack Milo Ventimiglia. A Golden Globe nominee and Screen Actors Guild Award Ensemble winner for This Is Us, Moore is now hoping to add her first Emmy nomination this year, in the Best Drama Actress category. Moore recently spoke with Gold Derby senior editor, Rob Licuria, and contributor Amanda Spears about season 2 of This Is Us, the thrill of winning the SAG Ensemble Award, and her 3 words to tease season 3. Watch the exclusive video chat above and the complete interview transcript below. Gold Derby, Rob Licuria, Mandy Moore, you play Rebecca Pearson on This Is Us. There's so much that we need to talk about this character and the journey you've been on in season 2, but I wanna go straight to this question that you probably get every day of your life. Does it ever get really tiring just having to cry and make people cry every single episode? Mandy Moore, it's still hard to wrap my head around the fact that that's what the show has kind of become, in a sense, or at least what it's become known for. It's daunting, certainly, to cry. I feel like this season definitely put me through. It was challenging, especially that latter half of the season. Yeah, a lot. I kind of was braced and ready for it cause I knew that season 2 was really gonna tackle that big underlying question of how Jack passes away, so I knew that particular episode and subsequently the funeral and how the family picks up the pieces moving forward after that traumatic event. I don't know if you can make it through an episode of our show without us crying on set or people crying at home. Lots of people feeling all their feelings. Gold Derby, Amanda Spears, I just wonder, does the crew cry? Sometimes the crew does cry. You'll see our boom operator, Aaron, in between takes wiping tears away. It really boils down to what we're shooting. I remember people were really into the big long fight scene that Milo and I had for the last episode of season 1 where we are screaming at each other. It was like everybody was on edge but really felt that, and I think some of these other more traumatic and upsetting moments in this past season that people were like, it's hard not to be affected by it. We all feel like we're in this together and it's super grounded, real-life material, so I think that people are able to in the moment immediately relate it back to their own lives. GD, Rob, yeah, that's the most critical part because the show has really profoundly touched a lot of people. It's about universal themes like love and loss and family. We all have that in our lives, and this show really seems to really bring it out for many of us. Do you get a lot of that kind of reaction on the street, people that you meet every day, telling you this show made me realize something in my own life and things like that? Yeah, I feel like it brings about conversations between people that maybe wouldn't necessarily occur, or at least the show helps foster those conversations. It's really humbling. I've never been a part of something that people have responded to in quite this way before, and I think all of us in the cast really feel that way. It's never really said in passing, oh, I love your show. People want to say, I reconnected with my stepfather, or, it made me stop and call my parents and talk to them about something I hadn't before, or say how much I appreciate them. It feels weightier, I guess, in that sense. GD, Amanda, you play Rebecca, both around your age and an older version of the character. Do you have anything different to prepare for the older Rebecca? Well, I usually have a lot more time to prepare cause it's like 3.5 or 4 hours of going through hair and makeup. So I definitely feel like I have a proper amount of time to focus and think about what we're shooting because most of the time that I'm present day, something dramatic is happening. I'm either being confronted by my adult child for keeping him from his biological father his entire life at the Thanksgiving dinner table, or his father has just passed away, the biological father, and I feel tremendous guilt that they didn't have the relationship they should have. I feel like there's always something really heavy going on when I'm in old age makeup, and I just feel like she's a fundamentally broken woman, even 20 years on after losing her husband. I felt daunted by it initially at first because I'm 34, and so the idea of imagining 30 years of life that I haven't lived, and I don't have children, I don't have grandchildren, I haven't lost a child, all of these fundamental pieces of who this woman is, I didn't have a real point of reference. but I kind of have let myself off the hook, realizing that this story is gonna continue to expand and this universe is gonna expand hopefully as the show goes on. To me, it's more about figuring out the fundamentals of who she is and bigger picture ideas of what she's gone through, and it also helps that the writing is so incredible. It's so elevated, especially present day. I'm always working with Sterling K. Brown, or Justin Hartley, and Chrissy Metz, and everybody's so magnificent on the show. They show up and bring their A game on. You have no choice but to follow suit and try and stay in step with them, I guess. GD, Rob, yeah, and a lot of the cast had a really big season 2. A lot of it was elevated and the ante was upped, so to speak, especially for your character. We're all really excited about the Super Bowl episode. We were gonna get some answers about obviously a huge part of this whole family's life. I think the episode didn't disappoint. For me, it didn't, and it didn't disappoint for your character, don't you think? It was a big challenge that you had to take on, especially, for example, the vending machine scene, where Rebecca is learning about what's actually happened so suddenly. So talk us through the challenges of doing that, cause it would have been hard. It was hard. I felt a tremendous amount of responsibility because that episode obviously was answering a lot of questions people had about the entire series of the show, and what this family's life hinges upon. Dan Fogelman always references, it's life before Jack and after Jack. So it was a pivotal episode and I thought it was written so exquisitely. I thought Dan knocked it out of the park. He always knew this is how he wanted it to unfold. He told us very early on this is how Jack passes away, and obviously the details took shape as the season progressed and as we got a little closer to the episode, but I love that what ultimately unfolds was so traumatic, but because it wasn't cinematic in that typical way that I think people were expecting, like for him to die in a fire or in some cinematically catastrophic way. It's because it was so quiet and it happened off screen. I felt it was so much more fundamentally effective. I've said this before, I loved that candy bar moment and the utter disbelief and shock that this doctor was so outright inappropriate. How could he not remember I had just been in the room with him? He honestly didn't remember me or my husband? This is awful. You should be telling the right family this news. I am hot stepping it back into the room to tell Jack. It is the furthest thing from my brain, it doesn't even remotely begin to compute. I didn't know that Milo was actually gonna be in there for the first take. We had shot this scene in the episode where he and I are sitting side by side on the bed after the doctor leaves and talking about what happened and how we're gonna piece together our life after this fire and this entirely traumatic event. I shot the candy bar scene with the doctor and then, I was in a dark room listening to music, getting into that frame of mind, and I was ready to go, and I remember turning the corner walking into the room and I had prepared myself fully for seeing an empty hospital bed, but then there was Milo, laying on the bed with his shirt off and the paddles next to him on the bed, and I was frozen. I was in the moment. I was able to flash through everything that I read in the script of them getting married. Now I'm gonna cry. Them getting married, in the hospital, having the babies, all of these unbelievably beautiful pillars of what their life was together, and I looked on the bed and it was Milo, and thinking back through the 30-some-odd episodes that we had built this life, the life of this couple together, it definitely helped me get there. GD, Amanda, well, we are definitely rooting for you to get that Emmy nomination this year. But we are curious, if you are nominated, you have to submit an episode. Do you have one in mind? I guess I would probably do the Super Bowl episode just because I feel like the episode itself is so strong, just across the board. I feel like it's moving and it's emotional and the pace of the episode. And, I get to live in 2 decades. You get a little bit of the old Rebecca, just to show people, hey, remember, I'm in 50 years of this moment, laughs, and then obviously the stuff in the late 90s and losing him. I also really loved the episode, I think it's 11, with the therapy scene with everybody. I feel like it's such a great moment. I don't know. But I probably would do the Super Bowl one guess. With this show it's so hard because I feel like they do such an incredible job of letting every single character, all 7 or 8 of us in this ensemble, have a moment and have an episode. I'm excited for the whole cast cause like you said, I think it was such a strong year for everyone across the board, especially the 5 core family members. I have my fingers crossed. GD, Rob, we at Gold Derby all think that all 5 of you will be nominated this year. We don't wanna jinx it, but it's looking pretty good. So we're gonna hopefully see you at the Emmys later this year. But speaking of the cast, you recently won the SAG Ensemble Prize, which is so cool. So many people were so thrilled about that win cause this is such an ensemble, right? And you guys were so enthusiastic. GD, Amanda, I think you were the most enthusiastic cast that won that night. M laughs. GD, Rob, you can just tell that you really actually genuinely like each other, which is so refreshing. Talk us through that really special night. I mean, I still have the widest smile on my face thinking about it, because we were there as an entire cast. Every version. We had the 10-year-olds, we had the teenagers, we had Miguel, we had John Huertas. Our show truly is an ensemble, and it wouldn't work without absolutely everybody, and the fact that we could all be there together and it wasn't just the usual suspects that kind of go these award shows together, was so fantastic. And I think it was especially fun for Sterling, not to speak out of turn, because he's so used to winning and being on that stage. I think it's emotional to be able to share that moment with all of us. I know, he more or less said that. I'm so happy we all get to experience this together, what he's so used to at this point. Laughs. GD, Rob, I'll just jump in. Amanda, if you don't mind, because it's a question that Amanda always says, we should ask this, and we never do. GD, Amanda, it's a joke. GD, Rob, you just opened the door, because we always want to say, are you people just sick of Sterling K. Brown winning all these awards? No, never. He deserves everyone. He's the best. I am the biggest Sterling champion and fan. We all are. And it would different if he weren't so flippin' cool, too. He just, honestly, Sterling for president. That's what I think. He should run and win. He's so made for this stage. He's made to obviously be in the position that he's in as an actor and as a performer, but as a human, as a man, when he gets on stage and he's so present and comfortable and always has a message to deliver, he's born to be here, and I love how well he represents himself and therefore our show, too. He's the best ambassador for all of us. GD, Amanda, is there anyone in the cast in specific, and you can pick yourself, that you would like to see win an Emmy for season 2? I wanna see Justin win. I love that guy. I think he's so flippin' talented, and I think that people see his character and he's so easily discounted and dismissed because he makes it look so easy, but I think that's a testament to just how good he is. I loved the evolution of his character. The trilogy of episodes this year that we did, 1, 2, and 3, his episode remains one of my favorites of the entire show, for the entire series. He was so incredible and I love him. I love everybody, but as a human I feel like everybody in their own right has sort of been acknowledged, and I feel like it's his turn now. GD, Rob, yeah? We said the same thing to him a few weeks ago, and speaking of Justin, Amanda and I always do this when we have interviews together. We asked Justin this question, we wanna ask you the same question. GD, Amanda, for some more competition, intercast competition. GD, Rob, yeah, let's compete with each other and see who can give us the best answer. So we know that you can't spoil what's gonna happen in season 3 cause then you'll get fired and that wouldn't be great. So, are you able to give us 3 words to describe what you know, what is in store for Rebecca in season 3 of This Is Us? In 3 words. GD, Rob, yeah, 3 special words, and we'll just put them on social media and let them fly. Let them fly. All I sort of know at this point is, early days courtship. GD, Rob, oof, that's exciting. GD, Amanda, I think she might have won. Laughs. GD, Rob, I like it. I'm just telling you the truth of what I know. GD, Rob, well I think we might leave it there. Thank you, Mandy. We have plenty more to talk about but we'll leave it for next time. Thank you so much for your time. We really loved watching you on season 2 and good luck for all the awards that come your way this year. And I appreciate the time, guys. Thanks for chatting. Predict the Emmy nominees and winners now. Change them until July 12th. Be sure to make your Emmy predictions today so that Hollywood insiders can see how their TV shows and performers are faring in our odds. You can keep changing your predictions as often as you like until just before nominees are announced on July 12th. And join in the fun debate over the 2018 Emmy taking place right now with Hollywood insiders in our television forums. Read more Gold Derby entertainment news. Sign up for Gold Derby's free newsletter with latest predictions.